Alright guys, how's it going? Welcome back. Well, last week I got a message from a viewer called Adam asking if I fancied taking on a project. I don't know whatever gave him that idea, do you? I mean, what do I look like? Some sort of gullible idiot? He explained that he had a 2003 Audi S4 Avant that he'd owned for a couple of years, and it was a bit of a project car. And, like everyone's project cars, he just didn't have the time to get it back on the road. Ultimately, I think he just accepted that he wouldn't be able to see this project through, and that's why he offered it to me. Now, had this been an ordinary Audi A4 Avant, you know, a 2-litre diesel or a 1.8 petrol, I'd have had little to no interest. But this isn't. This is an Audi S4. It's quite a rare car, and they just don't make cars like this anymore. I mean, let's not forget, this uses a 350 horsepower 4.2-litre V8, and it sounds naughty. In addition to that, it's got a manual 6-speed gearbox, and it's got all-wheel drive. He gave me what I thought was a very honest description of it as well. He'd spent lots of money in the right areas, but just ultimately ran out of time. So, for example, he told me it had a new timing chain, new clutch, new battery, 4 new Michelin tyres, all that sort of stuff. So that's obviously a good thing, because there's thousands of pounds worth of work there already done. But it does have a few issues. So, there's no power steering, it's completely dead. There's a fault with the ABS, and the headline is sagging, which is quite a common issue on the S4. We agreed a deal where I agreed to pay him £1,350 for this car, which I know sounds like a bit of a bargain, but it is a bit of a risk. Quite a big risk, actually. And, I mean, let's not forget, I've bought this completely unseen, so it is a bit of a gamble. I'm just hoping it's all right. Before I agreed to buy this car, I did a thorough vehicle history check first, and it all checked out fine. Now, as always, I used a company called Car Vertical, and they're really good. They're really thorough. Let me show you what I found then with this Audi S4. So it's really easy to use. This all you do is go to carvertical.com and type in the VIN or the reg number. And as you can see in the case of this Audi S4, it's never been stolen, never had a mileage rollback, there's no outstanding finance on it, and it's never been involved in a recorded accident. So we're clear on all 4 fronts. In addition to that, when we scroll down to the mileage, it's fairly consistent. It's done around 160,000 miles right now, 162 I believe. But yeah, it's fairly consistent every single year. I mean, let's not forget, this is a 21-year-old car now, so I think it's entitled to have done 160,000 miles. If we scroll down a little bit further, we can see the MOT history, the ownership changes, plate changes, all that sort of stuff. Like I say, it is a very thorough check. If you'd like to do one of these checks for yourself, and I urge you to do so before you hand over any cash for a used car or motorbike, you can save yourself 20% if you use my promo code HIGHPEAK. That's HIGHPEAK, all one word, HIGHPEAK, for 20% off. I'll leave the link below in the video description. But yeah, definitely try it out. And it isn't just a UK thing either, it works in 35 different countries. Right, well, armed with all that information, we better go and have a look at it, hadn't we? I'll see you there. Right, well, here we are then. I think that's called Daytona Grey, but I'm not sure. But it's quite a good colour actually for an S4. I do like the Avant as well. It just looks sporty. Now I know the one on, what was it? Was it Layer Cake? Was that an RS6? Or was that an RS4? I'm not sure. But it's this sort of era. It's just cool, isn't it? I mean, this is sitting quite low, so I think it must have been lowered, or we've got some cracked springs. I'm not sure. But it's just been sitting for ages by the looks of it. I mean, look at I don't know whether you can see this on the camera, but it's just full of mould, basically. This needs a very deep clean. But Adam was right. So we've got a Michelin Pilot Sport 4 on, yeah, loads of tread. There's like 6mm of tread on that. Brake discs look a little bit grim. They might need to be replaced. The wheels need refurbishing, so I'll have to run this over to Prestige in Bredbury. Prestige wheels are doing a good job, I'm sure. Up front, we've got another matching Michelin. Bit of a tongue twister. She sells seashells by the seashore. Another grim brake disc, another wheel that wants refurbing, but that's not bad, is it? I mean, there must be £800 worth of tyres on this car. So that's pretty good. It's just filthy. We've got a window down there as well, which isn't good. Might have a broken regulator, perhaps. It's just sitting very low and looks a bit awkward. We're missing a towing eye cover. Now, this is interesting, actually. When Adam sent me the first email on it, he gave me a very long email, really, and a very thorough description. And he said he'd got various parts for the car, which he was going to leave in the car. So, for example, there's a towing eye cover, I think he said. There's a new S4 badge for it. Various bits and pieces. Now, I've never owned one of these cars before, but I would say that exhaust isn't standard. So it should have twin exhausts like that, but they look a little bit bigger than they should be. So it should sound pretty good, this. We've got rear parking sensors. Now we've only got the one key, the Juan key, which is actually, Adam's tagged it up for me. Can you see that? Is that in focus? Juan key. I thought that was quite funny. We've got new wheel sensors as well, I think Adam told me. so that's good. So once the wheels are refurbished, we can pop those in. Another Michelin tyre down there. And the fourth and final, Michelin. Muy bien. Right, well, the bodywork's actually very tidy. Apart from needing a... Ooh, nearly slipped then. Apart from needing a very good clean and buff, it's pretty good. It's missing its front reg plate for some reason. We've got xenon lights because we've got the headlamp wash there. You know what I like about the S4? It's nice and discreet. It isn't too obnoxious. You know, performance cars these days are just too much, I think. Take like the M3 competition with those silly sort of silly exhausts on the back and everything, and big aggressive nostrils up front. This is nice and understated and subtle. Right, remote locking works then. So like I said, we've only got the one key, but it does all work. That's good. It's got rear privacy, which it looks all right. I kind of wish it didn't have it, to be fair, but I'm now thinking, because this looks as low on the offside as it does the near side, I'm thinking this must have been lowered. We can't have 4 snap springs, can we? That would be a terrible look. But yeah, look at all the dirt. I can't wait to get this all cleaned up. There's no sunroof, that's probably a good thing. The headliner is indeed a bit sort of tentish, isn't it? In here then, we've got this little mounting equipment box. We've got some new wheel caps, as promised. That's good. Glove box bracket, he mentioned that. A bonnet release, I think, is that? I think he said that had broken as well. And passenger front footwell, some sort of trim for that. So that's good, isn't it? It smells a bit, well, it smells how you'd expect, really. It smells a bit sort of, a bit mouldy, a bit musty. We've got a Bose surround system. I don't know if that's an option or not. Why have we locked? Up front then, we've got a nice full leather interior. Some of these had half Alcantara, but this has got the full leather Recaro bucket seats. I'm quite excited about this. We've got electric seats, no mats, so perhaps we could treat it to a set. We've got some vice grips here, some mould grips. That's how we get in the bonnet, I think, isn't it? Should we give this a yank, shall we? Maybe not. Yeah, no, we'll leave that, I think. Leave that to my mechanic. Could do with some new window switches because they're all worn and perished. Got a nice armrest. And yeah, the good thing is it's had a new clutch at some point, and we've got a proper 6-speed manual gearbox. It all looks a bit scruffy, doesn't it? But I think it's come to the right place. We've got loads of history, apparently. Oh yeah, that glove box is indeed broken. Little pop-out cup holder there. Oh, we've got £3.50 in there. Cruise control. Not sure what that is, to be honest. Oh, battery clamp. Sorry, someone else removed for me, and I don't have the correct tool to refit. Fair enough. Fair enough. Nice, honest description. Oh, look. Got a new S4 badge. Perfect. And we've got what looks like loads of service history. So this was collected a couple of days ago from down south. It's come from miles away, this. I'm just flicking through the history now. We've got loads and loads. I can't show you because I might reveal someone's name and address, but I'll just give you a sweet little sneak peek. We've got loads of history there. So that's good. What we like to see, isn't it? In addition to that, do we have a service schedule? Look at that. It's interesting, actually, the cover photo there they've used on the owner's manual is the Nogaro blue, it's called. Nogaro. I know you're impressed by my nerdiness. Don't play it cool. Okay, service history then. Let's have a look, shall we? John Fox, originally. John Fox, Audi, Nottingham. Where the fuck's that? John Fox again. 03, 05. Very good. Swindon Audi, Northfield Audi. I think this has changed hands lots of times. Basingstoke Audi. And again. Basingstoke. Basingstoke. Basingstoke again. My dad used to work down there. There was a air base down the little airport. 104, then done at 111, then done at 117. It's Stafford Audi. Then another one there in Cleckheaton. 124, 129, 148. Gearbox fluid and rear diff oils. Man after my own heart. Brake fluid change, that's good. So that might be the last service unless there's some more receipts. So I think we'll give this a full service. We'll do everything. Spark plugs, the whole lot. I think what I'd like to do now, what I'm intrigued about, is how this sounds. You ready for this? Let's fire her up, shall we? So we've had a new battery, so it should be fine. There is no power steering though, it's heavy AF. Very heavy. We've also got no washer fluid there. Got little lines there sort of emanating from the end of it. Right. Oh yeah. So it's done 163. We've got no power steering at all, and we've got an ABS fault. Oh, that sounds naughty though, doesn't it? Listen to that. Quite like this. Should we do that one more time? Right, I shouldn't rev a cold engine, should I really? The car thinks it's the 8th of August 2003. It's got a really nice little burble, that. Oh yeah. Moving to the boot then, we've got more rubbish, which can all be cleaned, but we've got a nice parcel shelf and dog guard, and even a load liner, which I always like to see. Shows someone's cared for it, doesn't it? Struts are all right as well. Did that close then? No. Right, we've got a dicky boot. Yeah, it just needs a very good going over, really, doesn't it? I think what we should try and do then is just move it forward and backwards. We'll just see how bad these brakes are, shall we? So it's telling me my boot's open. Yeah, no surprise there. Let's try reverse then. Okay. Yeah, clutch feels all right. Steering obviously gets a little bit lighter as it as we pick up a bit of speed. Right, I've got a long to-do list then with this. I imagine the power steering pump's failed, so I need to replace that. I'm not sure the fault with the ABS. I'll get my mechanic to scan it, I think, and see what the issue is. But I'm quite impressed, really. Quite impressed so far. We've got a CD and cassette player there. It needs its code, but I'm sure that's in the history file there. We've got no heated seats, sadly. You'd think with a leather interior we'd have some nice heated seats, but we don't. Half a tank of fuel though, which is nice. Give it one more rev, shall we? Oh yes. Right, well this is gonna keep me busy for a while, isn't it, I suppose? I couldn't see a towing eye cover, but it might be in the car somewhere. Worst case, I can just order one from Audi. But yeah, that's it. That's my new project. What do you think I should do, by the way? You should probably let me know in the comments. I don't know what to do with the suspension. I'd quite like to raise it, get it back to factory settings, really, because I don't like things which have been lowered and tampered with. I think if that's been lowered all round, that will ride horrendously, won't it? I think that's really cool, that. Yeah, very cool. Right, we'll leave this with me then for a few days. I'm going to run this down to my mechanics and get them to fix the power steering and the ABS, give it a general check over, and then give it a full service and a clean MOT. Because I think the MOT expired earlier on this year, so we'll get that done. Then I think I need to take it to Auto Trim over in Denton, see my mate Jim the Trim, and get the headlining replaced. And then over to Tameside Valley Trim for a full clean and probably a stage 1 or 2 buff. So it should keep me busy for a while, shouldn't it? But it's all exciting. Right, I'll see you shortly. Well, I'm back down at my mechanics, and as you can see behind me, we've got a rather sad looking Audi S4 Avant. I wish I had better news for you, but unfortunately I don't. In fact, I could do with your advice. Just don't know what to do with it next. Since you last saw it, it's driven about 50 yards. My mechanic got it up on the ramp just to see what was wrong with it. And as you can see from my stack of papers, there's quite a bit wrong with it, actually. So this is why I need your help. I just don't know how far to go with it. Asked them for a full service, a clean MOT, and I wanted to sort out the faulty power steering. They topped up the power steering fluid and it did work, but only for a short period. Then it became well, it quickly became apparent where the leak was coming from. It's leaking from the steering rack itself. Now that ordinarily wouldn't be a big job, but on the Audi S4 Avant, unfortunately, it's an engine out job. I can buy a reconditioned steering rack for about 400 quid, so that's not a problem. But it's going to take maybe 2 or 3 days labour to get the engine out, fit the steering rack, and then put the engine back in. So my labour bill alone is going to be probably, I don't know, another £1,500 maybe. Bear in mind I only paid £1,350 for the car. I just don't think it's worthwhile. In addition to that, my mechanic said that it needed, what else? Needed a power steering pump, which is quite expensive, rear shock absorbers, some bulbs, 2 front rear suspension arms, a front mount, fluid, bonnet damper, bonnet handle, and brake discs and pads all round. Now I do have some prices, happily. So for various parts here, we've got brake discs, pair of brake pads, control arms, shock absorber. So that's going to be £408.90 for those bits of parts, plus the reconditioned rack. Hang on, gets better. The service kit is £138, that's fine, can live with that. Then the cost of the power steering pump itself is £329.99, plus the cost of the rack, plus a load of labour. And that's what's really putting me off. I'm just trying to figure out whether it's worthwhile or not. Now, I know it's done 160,000 miles and it's 21 years old or something, but it's had all the other major work done. New timing chain, new clutch, all that sort of stuff. So I just thought, maybe if I spent maybe £2,000 on it, it would be worth doing. If I spent £2,000 on it, it would then owe me, the best part of £3,500. It's probably a £5,000 car. My main concern though is if it doesn't just cost me £2,000 to fix, if it costs me more like 3.5, 4, then it's going to owe me too much money. But thinking sensibly for once, I've already got a really nice Nagaro Blue S4 with low miles. So, can I be bothered? I just don't know what to do with it if I don't fix it. There's something else I've forgotten as well. If we get it running right, then we've got to sort out the cosmetics. Now, the bodywork seems okay, but it's covered in moss, so I'm not really sure. It needs a very deep clean. The wheels need refurbishing. A few other bits and pieces, so I really don't know what to do. My plan originally, and this does kind of change from day to day, was to take both S4s, the Avant and the saloon version, and maybe do like the North Coast 500 or something like that. Maybe. But, I don't know. I could probably just buy something else, couldn't I? Maybe like an S8 or something, maybe. Or an S6. Who knows? The other thing to bear in mind is, even when it's finished, it's done 160,000 miles, so I can't really retail it. That would, of course, mean that I'd have to keep it for my own car collection, which is getting a little bit out of hand. I'm already struggling for space, and I've already got way more cars than I could ever drive. In fact, that's a good idea for a video. I should give you an update of everything I've currently got in my weird, eclectic car collection. I mean, just looking around me now, I need to get out of here actually, because it's quite depressing. That's my Land Cruiser. We've got an A6, S5, LS430. That's my old Range Rover. That's my Toyota Picnic. That's my Berlingo. That's my NX over my left shoulder. So, yeah, I do have far too many cars around me at the moment. So what would you do? I'm really torn. I don't know whether to spend the money and continue with it, or just cut my losses. I could probably get £1,000 for it as it is, and just sell it on as a project. I don't know. I don't like to be defeated, to be honest. I quite like to rescue all these cars, but I just think with this, bear in mind I'm not doing the work myself, it's just going to rack up a massive labour bill, isn't it? But do let me know what you do in the comments, because I need your advice. So I think that's about it. Wish I had better news for you, but sadly I don't. So thank you once again for watching. Make sure you give the video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Make sure you subscribe if you haven't done already. You can follow me on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter and TikTok. I'll leave the links below. And yeah, cheers guys. I'll see you next time.